Well, we now have some questions that we would like to pose to you, Brother Imam, and they've come in from our audience as well as supporters from across the country. The first one reads, quote, "On the first Sunday address, you described the 4 stages or phases of Imam Muhammad's teachings, what he focused on or gave attention to from 1975 until his passing. What would you say will be your primary focus in this initial phase of your leadership?"
I can't separate myself from anything that Imam W. Muhammad established. It's a continuation in all of the things that he did. Addressing the condition of our community as an African American Islamic community with the proper understanding and knowledge from our religious sources of knowledge, the Holy Quran and the teaching of Muhammad the Prophet. Also attention to the condition of the African American community, and also to address our life as American citizens, contributing to a better life for human beings on this earth. I'm not separated from that, and that was Imam W. Muhammad's emphasis. And as a person continuing in that, I'm not turning away from any detail of what he left us. I would like to say too, though, that there is the need for projecting the correct image of Islam in the world. And I think that this will be the primary focus that I have, to speak language that is clear and direct about what is the correct picture, the correct image, the correct emphasis in the teaching of the religion of Islam.
Our next question reads, "Should we stop using the popular spelling of Muhammad, Muhammad, and start using the spelling that Imam Muhammad used for his name, Mohammed? Why did he change the spelling?"
Yes. One of the accusations made against the prophets is that they were insane people, or mad people, meaning insane. And so the Orientalists and the Western commentators have coded the spelling of Muhammad in a way that says at its conclusion, Muhammad, that Muhammad is mad, that he is insane. This is the fact that Imam W. Muhammad pointed out. And this was the reason why he adjusted the spelling of his name. And on his birth certificate, it reads Wallace D. Muhammad, spelled Mohammed. So this was the spelling that he had, and he just made that official. And when he did that, it was in the 90s or the 80s maybe. I think there were some that immediately did that as well, and I was one. So all of my children, my oldest child, second oldest child, all have the name, the spelling Mohammed, and that's the way I spell it as well. And this English rendering of the Arabic word, but as I said, the Imam W. Muhammad pointed out that that Muhammad was a spelling popularized to make the accusation against Prophet Muhammad that he was a madman. So I would encourage persons to adjust the spelling of their name if they like. That no one is coercing them or suggesting that that they're doing anything wrong or sinful. And I encourage them to do that because Imam W. Muhammad did it. That's what he did. But he didn't ask that people do. He didn't ask that people change the spelling of their name. He was just pointing out that this is a problem. And so he demonstrated how to correct the problem. Now, if you accept his leadership, then you'll correct it too. And that's why I changed the spelling of mine. I didn't hesitate to do it.
The next question reads, why are all the prophets in Scripture from the same part of the world and from the same bloodline?
I would rather answer this kind of question in a class setting rather than in this venue. And the reason for that is there are many important connections and many important verifications. And some things can be stated in few words, and some things requires extended explanation in order to bring the verifications together. And a question like that, if I were to answer quickly, I would leave off too many verifications. So I would prefer to answer that kind of question where I can devote attention to all of the proofs and verifications to bring the point. But I will say this, that the premise of the question, I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't agree that the premise. And so I'll begin there. When we get the opportunity to address this question, I will begin with the fact that I don't accept the premise of that, the way the question is stated. And then I'll bring the proofs why.
And the final question is, when Allah speaks about his hands, what is he referring to?
He says his hands. Maybe we don't know what his hands are. We're not able to discern what his hands are. But his two powers of authority over his creation, and also that which he uses to empower. So, one, nature. The other, guidance.
Thank you, Brother Imam, for once again taking the time out to join us. We definitely look forward to having you back very soon in the near future. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And thank you to our listening audience and supporters from across the country and the world. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.